Hello everyone. Well, I have been asked on Instagram and on Facebook, I guess too, in some coloring groups, how I color digitally in Photoshop. And if I could show that, make a tutorial about it. And I was like, oh well, can I? Do I know how to record my screen and show what I'm doing? But yes, it turns out I can show you that, and I will. So for this, I chose a page by Jade Summer. The book is simply called Mermaid, and this is a handsome merman and not just a girl. I thought, well, why not a merman? And also the areas to color in are nice and large, and I think I can show you better on this, or it's a good start maybe. So what I did before recording is I opened the PDF version of the book and I copied the image into Photoshop, and this is where we start. Also, please note that my Photoshop version is in German, but I will do my best to give you all the tools and stuff that I'm doing in English. I hope you will know what to do in the end. Okay, first go to that little layers window that you have here, or you should have opened it by now, and you can see the background layer, which is always nice to have, and on top of that is your actual image that you want to color in. You click on that image and look at the little drop down menu with all the blending modes. Blending modes are such a fun thing for so many areas in digital work, and what you can do with it here is as follows. You set your image to multiply, and it gives the appearance of having all the white disappear and only the black lines are left. When that is done, find the little icon that I'm clicking on right now at the bottom of your layers window. This will create a new layer, which is absolutely important when you want an easy coloring experience. You can always go back on the layer you're working on and fix things without other things on other layers being touched. So this is very important. If you had all your coloring on one layer, it's close to impossible to nicely erase something or just change a little bit. So always use layers. And so this is our first layer. And make sure that first layer is in between your background layer and your image that you want to color. So on top is the coloring image, then is your first layer, and then there's the background image. Now go to the left to your toolbar and find the magic wand tool, which looks like this or similar. And with that, we want to click on our top layer, which is the image we want to color in, not your first layer, but the image. And we want to select with the magic wand tool all the areas that we want to fill with some good skin color. To select more than just one area, simply hold the shift key and then click, click, click away until you selected everything. Now it is important to switch back to our first layer again, which we created, because that's the layer we want to color on and not on the actual image. So in the end there's only the black lines, and underneath that is our color. To have that selection a little bit exact and refined, go to change selection, and then I think it's called extend, so that you can make it a little bit bigger by 3 pixels. And finally the fun begins. Now pick a color that you would like the skin to have. It's a merman, so it could really be anything. I went with a rather typical skin color, and I took the paint bucket tool and clicked, and you can see every area that you selected to have skin tone is now basic flat skin color. But do we want flat skin color? No, I mean, well, if you do, go with it, that's fine, that's your choice. But in this tutorial, we're going to add some little shading, and as I told you before, it's important to do that on a new layer. So not a flat skin tone layer, but create a new one. And on that new layer, I want to add my shading, and I'm used to going with a color that is a bit darker, less saturated, and cooler than my basic skin color. Whoa, and now I almost forgot to tell you about an important step, because you don't want to just paint the shading on and it goes everywhere. So what you want to do, you know what I mean? You want the shading to be just where the skin is, and not that you later have to erase it from the hair or the water or whatever. So you create what is called a clipping mask. You have your flat skin layer, go to that, and above that you have your new layer where you want to put the shading on. And now hold the Alt key and click in between those two layers, and you will see there's that little arrow symbol. It creates a clipping mask, and that makes automatically your shading go only where the skin is and nowhere else. I grab a soft round brush and lower the opacity quite a bit. In this case it's at 35%, but that really depends on the look you're going for and what color you have chosen. And for the actual shading part, I highly recommend using reference images, especially if you are not that experienced. I am actually not that experienced, and I never go with reference images, which is the reason why some of my work looks kind of off, because I'm too lazy to use reference images to get the shading right and everything. And yeah, I think you can call me a lazy colorist. Because with digital work, and I guess with traditional as well, you can go as detailed as you like, and it can be a lot of work, and I just tend to never do that. So see how that works? The shading really only goes where I want the skin to be and nowhere else. So yeah, I don't have to take care of that as well. Yeah, and here I'm just happily painting away. I really focus my shading on, well, I use my imagination to think about where is it darkest, and yeah, the intensity I want to achieve, all of that. So paint, and then I even go darker with my colors. So that's another shading color that's even darker and again cooler. So if it was that peachy skin tone before, it now tends to go towards the purples and blues. Always play with the opacity and just really play around to make it your own and make something of it that you feel comfortable with. And yeah. What I also like to do is use some in-between colors. So with the lowered opacity, you kind of create several new colors on your image that are different in lightness and in saturation. So if you're using your brush, just click the Alt key and you will automatically have the color picker, and it will pick a color that you click on in your image, and you will have to use that new in-between color so it blends a little more nicely. And yeah, paint, paint, paint. Going even darker there. Picking a lighter color, I going in and add some highlights, and as this is an underwater scene, I thought it would be nice to kind of dot those highlights in because of that underwater effect that I don't know how else to achieve. So, well, anyways, I thought going with some dotted highlights and then some even thinner, kind of bluish highlights would be a nice idea. Another fun part about digital coloring is that you can always go back in and kind of change up the colors a little bit. So when you're on your layer that you want to change, just hold the control key and hit U, and there's some changes that you can make. It's the color, hue and saturation, and I just played a little bit with it, but in the end I think I didn't change that much at all. And that's pretty much it for this video. I have no idea if you will find this useful, helpful, bit stupid. I don't know what else. Yeah, this is my first, so I hope you get something from this. I will definitely keep recording coloring this picture until he's done. So I think the next part I'm gonna share with you is coloring the hair. The hair, yes. And I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time.